Cocaine's for horses, not for men. They tell me it'll kill me, but they won't say when. Cocaine run all around my brain.
You're listening to WHFS Bethesda, Maryland. My name is Thomas, and my guest is Dave Van Ronk. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Tom.
How you been doing since I seen you last?
When was that? About 8 months, 10 months ago, something like that. Been doing just fine.
You told me you were going to work on a new record. What's happening with that?
It's done. It's in the can, and it should be out in a measurable amount of time, anywhere from a week to 8 weeks.
Are you still with Philo?
Yeah, Philo. We wanted to get the thing out in time for the Christmas thing. But the graphics came back with the colors wrong and this and the other thing. I had to send it back and have it done over again. So it may not be out until the end of January. Mm-hmm. It's going to be called Somebody Else, Not Me, that Burt Williams tune. I think you heard me do it. I encored with it tonight.
What else is on it?
Oh, some things I've been doing for a long time, like Michigan water tastes like sherry wine, and why don't you go down to Hannah, and things like that. Things that I've been doing ever since I was a kid. There's some new things, like Scott Choplin's The Entertainer, and Somebody Else, Not Me, and it's me playing guitar and singing. There's no backup or anything like that. It's rather, it's a parlor record.
They just released the Bread and Roses Festival album. You appear on that. How did you get into that?
Well, that's not a parlor record. Well, I'm an old friend of a lot of the people out in Frisco who do that. The Bread and Roses. Well, the Bread and Roses group is a group that does concerts and benefits and so on for people who are in prison and people who are laid up with bad diseases, old age, and so on. Really a great outfit. And Mimi Farina is one of the leading people in that, and Joni Baez, too, her sister. And, well, I mean, I've known Joni and Mimi for 212 years or something like that. And they know I'm some kind of an old red, so they asked me to stop by.
A lot of people showed up for that.
It was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, I must admit, because I've worked for that many people before, but it's always at night when you can't see. And I went out there to the Greek Theater in Berkeley, and it was still daylight, and there were 11,000 people or some ridiculous number of human beings gathered there, and I could see every damned last one of them, and I felt like Custer. I've played for that many people before, but never in daylight. Or, sometimes in concert halls, and with the lights in my eyes, I couldn't see a damn thing. This time I could see every last one of them. I thought I was going to foul my pants. I really did. Oh, my God. Look at all those fucking Indians.
Well,
that's why God made razor blades. Just splice that out.
I believe that Swing on a Star was a selection that appears on the album, so why don't we play that?
Yeah, I wonder how that came out.
Okay. We're back. This is WHFS Bethesda, Maryland, and we're speaking with Dave Van Ronk, who is down at the Cellar Door. George Gritzback is opening up for you. You like George?
He's an incredibly strong guitar player and singer. his time is. You get the feeling, boy, is this a talented virile cat. The time just kind of bam, bam, bam. It's like sledgehammer, and it's absolutely right, perfect. And his phrasing is very liquid, unpredictable. Yeah. He's not only good. More important, he's interesting.
That's great. The last time I spoke with you, we were talking about Reverend Gary Davis and the song Cocaine. You told me that Jackson Browne came up to you or something and questioned you about the royalties. Is there a story to that?
Well, I don't know if Jackson wants I don't know. You know, Jackson never did me no harm. No, he hasn't done anybody any harm, as far as I know. The story is that he picked the song up from me, and he thought it was my tune. And I was working at a club in Santa Monica, and Jackson came backstage and said, you know, I just recorded a song of yours on an LP. And I want to know where to send the money. And visions of sugar plums danced in my head. A piece of the action on a gold or a platinum album. Paris, here I come. You know? And I said, which tune was it? And he said, well, it's Cocaine Blues. And I said, well, you send the money to Reverend Gary Davis's estate, and then you get the hell out of here unless you want to see a grown man cry.
Dave, you're quite an interesting person. I mean, you have such a background as influencing a lot of people. What sticks out in my mind is like Joni Mitchell. She's just put out an album, a tribute to Mingus.
The Mingus album, yeah.
And she went from the folk type of music into jazz, and you did that earlier with your Red Onion Jazz Band.
Well, you see, I came from jazz into folk, quite the other way around. I was performing as a jazz vocalist, a rhythm guitarist, banjo player, and whatnot, with traditional jazz bands before I got into folk music. So I come the other way around than Joni, who started out in folk music and now is into jazz.
What do you think of her Mingus tribute?
I'm not sure. I can't make up my mind. I have to hear more of it, and I have to listen to it a lot and think about it. There are some things that she does that I am not accustomed to hearing, and I must listen carefully because I know this is one of the best musicians I've ever met. Therefore, she is not to be dismissed. She has to be listened to carefully. But I'm not sure.
I tell you, we're almost into the 1980s, and music has definitely changed. And to keep folk music alive, you know, you've preserved it in a sense, and that's quite a feat. I mean, trying to do that, do you find it difficult in getting that type of music exposed?
No, not terribly. Yeah, look, I find it terribly difficult to get my price when I want to work a club or a concert and so on. I want $150 billion per song. Look, I'm just like everybody else. And the demand isn't as great as it was. And wages are down. Prices are up. And so on. It's a little tougher than it used to be.
Do you think folk music will resurface like in the 80s?
I don't know. I don't think there's any chance that folk music is going to die. But as to whether or not it's going to become a big pop phenomenon, well, my crystal ball is out at the dry cleaners. I don't really know. I can almost guarantee you that over the next 10 or 20 years, folk music will continue to be one feature of American life. But how important it's going to be commercially and so on, I don't know. I have no idea. I do this because I like to do it, and I do it well. I propose to continue to do it as long as I can make a living out of it. And if I can't make a living out of it, well, I'll just have to try doing something else now, won't I?
In the early days, you and Dylan were very similar in what you were doing, and now...
No, Bobby and I. Bobby was of the IWW, CIO, people's artists, that sort of tradition, and I was very much out of the blues tradition. Very different to begin with. I always liked his stuff. I was doing one of his songs tonight. I recorded it on that letter to Woody. That's on the final record.
What do you think of what he's doing now, Slow Train coming?
I haven't heard it. I as yet, I haven't. I've heard a cut or two on the car radio, and that don't count.
I have to admire you for not going for the commercial market like so many people have done.
Well, there's an old saying, cobbler stick to your last, which means, do what you do well. I don't do the commercial stuff well. I would be a terrible fool if I tried to do it, because I would do it poorly. And the people who like popular music would know that I'm not any good at it. And I'd be throwing away what I do well in exchange for a shot at fame, fortune, and so on that would fail, because I don't do that stuff well.
Another thing that I really like is the version of Work With Me, Annie, that you did a long time.
You like that? My goodness, I must take exception to you. I remember the old recording of that, the old R&B recording of Work With Me, Annie. And that's what I measure my own job on it against. And I think I just oversang. But thanks. It's a great tune.
Let's see, what else? How long have you been out on the road for this time?
Oh, this time? No big deal. I've just been out for 2 or 3 dates. Going back home to New York, either tonight right after the gig or early tomorrow morning. I'll be around my own place for 5 or 6 days, which is going to be great. Give me a chance to visit the art museum, hit the bars that I like.
You may be old, 90 years, you ain't too